Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place where we take the sources you send us and, well, we really try to distill the key insights.
That's the goal.
Today, we're looking into semaglutide, that medication that's really changing the conversation about hunger and weight.
Huge topic right now.
But we're looking at it through a very specific, a really unique lens, Dan Hollis. And this isn't going to be your typical weight loss chat. We're aiming to figure out what this medication might really mean for personal transformation.
Right.
The materials you sent suggest something quite different about hunger, about identity, and interestingly, about silence.
Yeah, the role of silence is key here. We'll be digging into Dan's idea that semaglutide isn't just physical, it's this chance, maybe an unprecedented one, for some deep internal work.
Okay.
And we're definitely going to unpack his, well, it's a provocative idea.
Yeah.
That for a lot of people, it was never about the food.
Never about the food. Wow.
Yeah. So get ready to maybe rethink some things about why we eat and what real change actually takes.
Okay, let's definitely unpack that. The sources jump right in, challenging, the standard ideas about weight.
They really do.
The world tends to think fat equals food, calories, maybe discipline, right?
That's the common narrative.
But Dan Hollis is saying basically that's wrong, or at least incomplete. He suggests it's about something else, something deeper, harder to talk about.
And what's really fascinating is how he frames semaglutide itself. He says it's not primarily about stopping appetite or melting fat.
Okay, so what is it about then?
He puts it this way, and it's quite a quote. It gives you a moment where food stops talking.
Stops talking.
Yeah. And for some people, that's the first honest moment they've had in 20 years.
Wow. 20 years.
So it's not just physical. He calls it a profound shift internally, like decoding emotional amnesia.
Emotional amnesia, that's a heavy phrase. So the idea is people have kind of forgotten or buried their real emotional stuff for so long?
Kind of, yeah, like a constant background noise. The food noise has masked these deeper things, and the medication just turns down the volume.
Okay, I get that. It allows for clarity.
Precisely.
And then the sources bring up this potential headline we've all missed, not lose weight fast.
Right, none of that.
But what if you weren't broken? Just confused.
That shifts things, doesn't it?
Totally. It moves it away from being a flaw, like you're broken, towards maybe a misunderstanding. Like hunger is sometimes just a stand-in.
Yeah, a surrogate for meaning, comfort, escape. That's how he puts it.
Meaning comfort, escape.
Okay. So if you tie this all together, in Dan's view, the medication isn't the cure-all. It's more like a pause button.
A pause button. Or a window to change, I think the sources say.
Exactly, a window. It lowers the volume on that constant sort of screaming for food, and that creates quiet.
Right, and you'd think, okay, great, quiet. Life gets easier when food isn't constantly on your mind.
You would think so.
But the sources show this unexpected twist, this silence. It can actually be really disorienting.
Yeah, deeply unsettling for some.
It can even bring up grief because maybe food was the plan, the routine, the way out.
It was the structure, the coping mechanism. And this raises a huge question. What happens when the body stops yelling for food, but, the soul still needs something?
What does happen?
Well, Hollis suggests people don't fail because the drug stops working, or even because they get physically hungry again.
Yeah.
He says they relapse not into hunger, but into confusion.
Into confusion because the silence is scary.
Terrifying for some. It's like they lost their favorite lie, is how he describes it. And in that empty space, that vacuum, they often just reach back for the chaos they knew, the familiar pattern.
Wow, okay, that makes a scary kind of sense.
Yeah.
So if the drug gives you this silence, this quiet space, this chance to, quote, fix yourself,
Yeah.
what do you actually do with it? Because Hollis isn't just prescribing a drug, right? He's offering a whole system.
Exactly. A framework. He calls it an inner architecture to handle this new quiet reality.
Inner architecture, I like that.
He says semaglutide isn't the house. It's not even the foundation. It's like good lumber.
Good lumber, meaning?
Material that makes building possible if you're actually ready to pick up the tools and do the work.
Got it. So the potential is there, but you have to build.
You have to build. And that's where his human-centered framework comes in. It shifts everything from biology towards identity, from just medication towards meaning.
From shame to structure.
Yes, and from silence to strategy. It's all about, as he says, rewriting the story people were too full to finish.
Too full to finish. Powerful. Okay, so how does this framework actually work? What's step one?
Step one, he calls it, start with silence.
Okay.
The very first thing is just observe. When the cravings quiet down, the truth begins. That's the idea.
So just sit with whatever comes
Yes,
up.
listen to the emotions that surface when you're not eating for comfort. Don't rush to fill that void immediately. Just notice.
Okay, notice.
Yeah,
Then what? Because there are all those habits, right? The things you do automatically.
absolutely. That's the second pillar. Rewire the rituals.
Rewire rituals. Makes sense.
The sources really hit this hard. Every pound lost is a habit that needs replacing, not just removing.
Finger placing. Okay.
Think about it. Food rituals are wired deep in our brains neurologically. So the drug quiets the physical hunger, maybe, but the habit loop is still there.
Right. Like reaching for snacks at 3 p.m., even if you're not hungry.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So this phase is about consciously swapping those moments. Instead of the snack, maybe it's a short walk, maybe writing something down, maybe calling a friend. New intentional ritual.
Replacing, not just removing.
Yeah.
Got it. That seems crucial, especially, like you said, the physical change can be fast. What comes after dealing with the rituals?
The third one is huge. Anchor identity before the weight drops.
Anchor identity before? Why before?
Because, Hollis warns, your body changes faster than your identity. That's the trap.
Ah, the trap.
Yeah, so the framework makes you ask, really ask, who am I becoming as I lose this weight? If you don't build that new identity anchor,
The old identity can pull you back.
precisely, the brain can kind of sabotage the physical progress because the self hasn't caught up. It goes back to what feels familiar, even if it's not working.
Okay, that disconnect sounds like a major hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
What about the speed of all this? Is faster better?
Definitely not, according to this framework. Tenet 4 is pace the process.
Face it.
He's very clear. Fast results don't mean lasting results. Pacing is protection.
Protection. How so?
It's about metabolic pacing, sure, but also letting your emotional self actually integrate the changes. Catch up.
Right.
Rapid physical change without that deep internal integration. He suggests that often leads to collapse. Back to square one.
Slow and steady, allowing for emotional catch-up.
Yeah.
Okay. And since this is about building a new way of living, not just a short-term fix, what about when the medication eventually stops? Is that part of the plan?
Oh, absolutely. That's the fifth point. Plan the off-ramp from day one.
From day one. Not when you're thinking about stopping.
From the very start. His approach looks ahead to life after semaglutide. He says the real work begins after the medication.
Because that's when the underlying stuff comes back if you haven't dealt with it.
Exactly. He sees most relapses happening not because physical hunger returns roaring back, but because those unaddressed patterns, those unmet emotional needs, they just resurface once the drug's effect is gone, if the work wasn't done.
So preparation, sustainability, right from the beginning,
Mhm.
makes sense. And how much of this deep work can someone realistically do alone?
Well, that brings us to number 6, which he frames as non-negotiable. Build the scaffolding.
Scaffolding, like for a building.
Exactly. He says support isn't optional. It's neurobiological scaffolding.
Neurobiological, wow. So support actually changes your brain.
That's the implication. It means emotional support, community, structure, even finding a new language to talk about what you're going through. He makes a point, too, that, AI can give you information, but humans give you meaning. That connection, that support structure is vital.
Humans deliver meaning. I like that. So we're building new pathways, new supports in our brains and lives.
Yeah.
That's profound. Okay, we've got silence, rituals, identity, pacing, the off-ramp, scaffolding. What's the final piece, the ultimate aim?
The seventh and final pillar is rewrite the narrative.
Rewrite the story you tell yourself.
Precisely. Dan puts it bluntly. Weight loss is biology. Staying there is narrative.
Biology versus narrative. Okay.
This is the end game. Helping people fundamentally change the stories they believe about themselves, about failure, about food, about their own worth. Because, he warns, no drug in the world can prop up a core belief that says, deep down, I don't deserve this.
Wow. So if that story doesn't change, the biology, the weight loss, it just won't stick.
That seems to be his core argument.
This really changes the definition of success then, doesn't it? It's not just hitting a number on the scale anymore.
Not at all. Like Hollis says, this journey isn't about eating less. It's about living more.
Living more.
Yeah, the real measure is, do you feel alive enough to stop defining everything through the lens of food?
That's a very different goalpost.
It is, and it suggests that maybe people regain weight not because they, inherently failed, but maybe because they never felt safe enough, supported enough to live without the weight as a buffer or without those old ways of coping.
Hmm.
So Dan's work seems focused on making sure that silence the drug creates doesn't just become a vacuum for relapse. It's about actively filling that space
Filling it
with structure, with community, with that anchored identity, with purpose, and with time for yourself. It's a whole narrative reassembly.
narrative reassembly.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to recap for everyone listening, we've explored Dan Hollis's perspective on semaglutide, seeing it less as just a weight loss drug and more as this potential catalyst.
A catalyst for really deep change.
It provides the silence, the pause button,
Right.
but that's just the start.
Right. Then comes the real work.
Building that internal scaffolding, rewriting your story, and yeah, finding a whole new way to actually live.
And that kind of leaves us with a pretty powerful thought to chew on, doesn't it?
What's that?
What if the weight someone carried wasn't only physical? What if it was, I don't know, historical weight, emotional weight, maybe even stuff passed down through the family?
Weight is more than just pounds.
Exactly. And what if semaglutide then is less like a simple prescription and more like an invitation
An invitation, too.
to finally ask those much deeper questions, to start a journey of, real self-discovery that goes way, way beyond the number on a scale.
Learning momentum again, rebuilding agency.
Yeah, rebuilding your agency in your own life. That's a powerful place to end.